Welcome to Ascended Warrior, Soul Codes for a Shifting World. This is your sacred space to awaken, align, and rise in your purpose. So let's begin. Hello. I am Chris Alicia. This is the accompanying video to the last episode of Ascended Warrior, where we talked about the transitioning of the U.S. economy, and not just the U.S. economy, but the U.S. structure. So I had done a tarot card reading, and I made a video accompanying that, which is this video. So you're going to get some super Vanna White activity. I'm going to switch the camera over to my phone so that you can see the cards, and I'm going to move my hands in time, hopefully with my voice. So enjoy. Let me know if you like, and subscribe if you want to see more. So this card reading is for 2 August 2025, and it is in regards to the U.S. tariffs and economy and the way that the U.S. is moving. Now, we're using the Lenormand Mirror of Truth cards. So these cards look into the past, the present, and the future. And right away I can see in the past, it was about development. So developing this underlining structure. The center card of the past is this beautiful woman's face, but underneath it is all of these 90-degree angle buildings. So it talks of building a structure with this illusion of gentrification, with this illusion of feminine energy. But the truth of it is this industrial complex. And it's got these carrion birds flying in the background as well. So it really speaks of illusions, the powers that are creating this structure, that created and are creating this structure, did so in this beautiful whitewashing way to make the outward facing image gentle and peaceful and welcoming, when in truth it's an industry for them. We are an industry for them. Constant creation, constant churning of money and power. So the carrion birds are really, they're flying around behind her face, like she can't see them. So it just keeps speaking to this illusion. Underneath her, in the past, still in the past, is the Sith, or the Sai, reaping a harvest of this industry that was created. Reaping an early harvest is really what I'm hearing from Spirit too. So the number 1 is the number on the card. So creating this structure with this illusion of gentrification of feminine energy and reaping the harvest that comes from that illusion. And above those, still in the past, is the storks. So these people coming and building their lives in what looks so peaceful and beautiful, but it's got this dark, dark cloud on the horizon that they are not paying attention to because their focus is down. Their focus is on their family, raising their children, creating their home. So the past of the United States is very much this energy. We had that, and I'm not talking about the indigenous energy that was laid here before that. I'm talking about the folks that came to get away from the Western powers and the Western control. That was that illusion of freedom really fed into who and what we are. We still very much identify with that persona of someone who can break away from power and create from nothing. But underneath that pioneer, that pilgrim, was still power. It was still the king in that case. It's still the wealthy. It was still the powerful. And they are the ones who were reaping the most benefits of this structure that was created. The structure, this lady card, which looks like it's opportunity for all, but in truth, it's a form of servitude. Obviously, some forms of servitude and slavery were more obvious than others, but this power that was behind all of that set these structures up intentionally so that they could reap the benefits, while we, or most of the souls on the planet, were focused on just growing their homes. So, in the present cards, the present column, right next to the storks, so the families that we're building, the house is the house card comes up and it feels like it's under attack. The doors are shut, the windows are closed. It's very isolated feeling. Now, this is a heart card, so families kind of closing ranks to figure out what it is that means the most to them. It's the stork card is very expansive. It's this green area, and you've got the mountains in the background. The home card is very, very insulated. So closing off, and it's speaking to closing off that belief system, that belief that everything is working out, will work out for us. Everything is set up to be the best for the people. Really closing down that mentality and focusing on their family first. So they can figure out what's important to them, what's real, what's not real, and blocking a lot of that negative energy from coming into the house. Now, next to the lady card, again, this industrial structure set up with this white wall in front of it, is the flowers. Now, the flower speaks to expansion, the summer of expansion. It's got this beautiful sun in the right hand corner that's burning away illusion, burning away structure. It's got a man made structure in the bottom corner. And in the center of it is these beautiful flowers that are blooming out of nothing. But it's burning away the illusion. It's burning away the illusion of the lady. It's burning away the illusion of we the people, is the term that I'm hearing from spirit. The country as it was set up was not, while the words were beautiful and even the Constitution was written in a very high energy level, spiritual energy level, the people who carried it out were still in a much lower vibration. They were interested in power and they were interested in money and putting themselves ahead of others. And a lot of that illusion is going away because, again, the insulation of the house, people closing their doors to that belief, to that information, to that propaganda, burning away the illusion so that what is born of the energy instead of born of man. So the flowers, again, are born from nothing. They're not growing out of the ground. They're growing out of the air. And they're growing so strong because of this bright sun, this bright light that is burning away what is not real. And it's also the number 9. So the completion of a cycle. We started with the lady, which is numerically a number 11. But it was that energy that was brought over from Western Europe, that power base that was already created and it was already so old, came here and created a new, in quotations, system for the people. All an illusion. That is being burned away. We're reaching the end of that cycle that they set up, the structure that they set up to benefit themselves and reap the harvest. And what is driving that next to the sigh is letters. And again, it's a number 9. So coming to the end of this cycle where they could reap the benefit of the people's work, of the people's energy, of this structure that they set up. Information is coming forward and will continue to come forward that will expose the fact that this was happening, that this was here. So this center This present is about heart and mind, taking that information that is coming from all over the place and using the discernment of your heart to determine what it is you take in to your home. So closing your doors to false information, to false beliefs, and really feeling into what information is real. And that is so critical right now. This country, this system as we have it now, was set up on false information and illusion of freedom that is being burned away. And it's critical that we listen with our hearts and not our heads, because there's too much information out there. And quite frankly, it's easier to go along the way we have been, putting your head down, build your family, focus on only what is seen on the surface of the US. So the information that's going to be coming out is going to be very telling, because it's going to be the end of a lot of those illusions as well. So the sun burning everything away and the information coming out, your heart and your head are going to be cleared of this dream that we have been living since the beginning. And where this leads, the future that we're seeing here, the card at the top is the rider. Now, this speaks to true freedom. It's both the number 1 and the number 9. So the beginning and the end of cycle, freedom from the cycle, freedom from the cycle that we have been in since our inception. And this is physical freedom. It's an earth card, so she's free of physical limitations, as well as judgment. It's this beautiful woman riding this black horse, but the edges are soft. They drift away from the card. The only thing solid is her face in the horse's face, that self-identity. So freedom grounded in self. The card underneath that, the card next to the flowers, is the stars. So bringing in more wisdom, more information from higher sources versus the lower sources. Now, in this row, we started with the lady again, this structure of power that the people couldn't see that was feeding this cycle of servitude, becoming free of that with the flowers by burning away the illusion. And that will lead to the stars, information of a higher source, of higher clarity, information directly to you, to your heart, information that you are bringing in as individuals, not what you are hearing on TV, information that comes to you through your higher self, through star beings, through angels, whoever it is that you speak to, burning away the illusions in the present, which is very uncomfortable. Let's be very, very clear. This is burning away the structure that we have had from the beginning, the structure that was created in this country to feed a very specific group. It has to be burned away. But once it is burned away, we're talking physical freedom through the rider. We're talking higher information through the stars. And then some new marriage. The bottom card of the future line is the ring. A new marriage of self and higher self, feeling of accomplishment, reaching the end of a cycle and being able to celebrate all the hard work. That type of marriage, not necessarily the marriage of two people. In fact, it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels, what I'm hearing from Spirit is the beginning of this country was very much set up to move us through the cycle that we have moved through. It was created to foster this energy of independence and pride that was new to the world. This bravery, this courage, unwillingness to back down. But underneath that energy was still the old world of power and money. We've moved through that cycle for so long that now we have reached the point of truth. We have reached the point where we are no longer willing to feed that power base. We didn't lose that sense of courage and bravery. In fact, that was intentionally seated there to help us move through the cycle so that we could move out of the hidden power, so that we could become introspective in our homes and close the doors to that information and that, like literally shutting the door to that lifestyle, burning away the veil that has been created to keep us locked in that cycle, and learning to discern information with our hearts instead of our heads so that we can move into this future of physical freedom where what we earn and what we create is for all. For our families, most certainly, because our families were the heart of our courage and our independence at the beginning. We came here to better the life of our families, to create a physical freedom for ourselves and our children that we have never seen before, by keeping that spirit of freedom and pride, opening ourselves up to the wisdom of higher sources, being open to that wisdom so that we are not focused down in the rat race. We are focused up into expansion and reaching this climax of the ring, this completion, this celebration of all of the work that we did in this very intentional soul cycle. Think of souls that have come to Earth and incarnated in the US and what that pattern has looked like. From those who felt they were escaping religious persecution to come here and be religiously persecuted, leaving to find freedom while enslaving other people, coming to a place where they could live life how they wanted to while hating on people who didn't live it exactly the same. It's this beautiful polar world that was created, those who have and those who have not. It's like duality in physical form is very much the foundation of the US, but the energy behind it, the intention set by those folks who came here and by the people that were here before, that sense of adventure, of the willingness to go into the unknown, of the pride of building something with your own hands. While that did get used in the system to create money and power for this small group, the intention was still pure, to create, to live free. So going through that cycle as we have for our history, coming to the part now, which is quite frankly like teenage years on crack, where we've gone through the hormonal period of our teenage years where everything feels very emotional and out of control. And now we're in the point where we're trying to say, okay, who do we want to be as adults? What character traits do we want to keep with us? And what character traits are straight up flaws that we want to leave behind? And the only way we can do that is by looking at ourselves, by shining that light on ourselves and our behavior and our systems and deciding what it is that we can move forward with. And coming to terms with our past, the things that we have done. Freedom through truth, through information. Information taken into the heart and not processed with the head, so that we can be free and get higher information, which will move us into the next phase of evolution for the United States. And the reason these cards are coming up when I asked about the US economy is the system that was created with the foundation of the US, that feeding of that small, powerful group, is coming to a head. It is being exposed, it is being shown for what it is, and it is, quite frankly, hard to stomach, it's hard to taste, it's hard to process if you process it with your head. This is the time for us as souls, to buckle in. We have to move through this cycle, just like every teenager has to come out of that cycle of angst and decide, who do we want to be as adults? Because with this breaking down of the structure, it's going to free up other countries as well, countries that were sucked into this cycle of European power, quite frankly, Western power, where they get to reap the benefits of our labor, of our constant desire just to have better lives and to take care of our families. There is a power base that has been able to exploit that for most of human history. So the US being exposed in the way that it is very much a catalyst for movement across the world. And for multiple reasons. Again, it goes back to the intention of the groups that came to the United States, the intention of the souls that came to the United States, coming from all over the world, to create a place of commonality that would, when changed, cycle out to all the strands of DNA that we've got across the world. We have all, I don't know if all is correct, but I'm actually hearing it is, all the DNA represented across the world is represented here in the United States as well. So when we are affected energetically on a soul level, it does cycle out through the strands of DNA to our ancestors, to those connected with us. So as we feel angst, you feel angst, and it's easier for other countries to I wanted to say it was easier for them to see, but that's not what it is. They feel more helpless about it and confused. It's like watching somebody go through a major trauma. There's so little they can do other than watch and be witnessed. But hold faith. Keep sending out positive energy to those, to all of us, because we're all going through this together, whether you're from the US or not. This catalyst is going to affect all, because that structure needs to break. It needs to be stripped down to its foundation in order to create something that really is balanced, that really does allow people to create better for their family and open themselves up to this sacred marriage, self and higher self. So uh, nothing here is really surprising as far as that goes. I hope it gives some sense of peace and faith that this is what we're going through now, is the culmination of hundreds of years of soul journeys, thousands of years. Spirit is correcting me on that one. Thousands of years of soul journeys to get to this place where we decide as humans what we want to be when we grow up. When we stop just following the structures that we have put in place that had the illusion of civilization, where we open our hearts to what is real and listen through our hearts and not just our heads. and discern what information that we are bringing in is accurate and which should just quite frankly go away. So it is a very, very hopeful reading. Now, the time that we're going through here, what is the time cycle for this? It feels like a decent amount of time. It feels like it might be the process of a generation. But remember, as souls here at this time, we did volunteer to go through this energy because, quite frankly, we're strong enough to do it. So if you're here, if you resonate with that, you volunteered to be here to help hold space, to move through this new energy, to break down those structures, and to discern how we change the world. If this message resonates with you, or if you have any questions, please write me down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you're interested in more readings, or if you have questions that you'd like put to the cards for us as a people. So, a really powerful reading overall from this deck. I got this deck on Etsy. If anybody is interested in it, just look up the Lenormand cards. They are different than traditional tarot. And this one seller sold the Mirror of Truth, and I find that the images on it definitely resonated with me and speak to me. Now, I do not open the books for card readings of this sort. I go into, I ground myself, I open up a sacred circle, and then I allow the information to come to me through my guides and through other beings of light. So if you do go through and look those up, you might see different meanings for it, but these are the meanings that I just gave you are the meanings that are meant for this reading at this time. So if you enjoyed that, if you have any questions about it, please post comments below. I would love to hear your feedback on if this resonated with you, if you saw anything else in the cards that helps to expand this message for other light workers. This is not about me teaching you what is right or wrong. This is about us sharing information and supporting each other in a really trying time. So please like, share if it resonated with you, subscribe to get more messages. The next podcast will be coming out next Thursday, so please be on the lookout for that one. We're going to be talking about climate change and the exodus of souls and the giant spiritual meaning behind that. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Love and light.